Welcome to the Electoral Commission of Queensland's webinar about electoral expenditure caps for groups of candidates in the upcoming 2024 local government election in Queensland. Today we'll explain what electoral expenditure caps are, when caps apply, how caps are calculated, how groups can learn how much their expenditure cap is, and where groups can get more information or assistance from the Electoral Commission of Queensland if needed. You might also be accessing this webinar as an agent of a group. So what are electoral expenditure caps? They are limitations on the amount of electoral expenditure that can be incurred by an election participant. They were introduced for local government elections via the 28th of June 2023's amendment to the Local Government Electoral Act of 2011. When we say that expenditure caps place a limit on the amount of electoral expenditure that can be incurred by an election participant, we mean that expenditure caps can apply to candidates, groups of candidates, registered political parties, and third parties that incur electoral expenditure for a local government election. As I mentioned before, this webinar will look at caps for groups of candidates. If you need information about caps for a different election participant, please check out our other webinars. Each local government election or by-election has a capped expenditure period. This is the time when the cap applies. The capped expenditure period starts for the 2024 local government quadrennial election, it's the 14th of August 2023, or for a by-election, the day the notice for the election is issued. And the capped expenditure period will end at 6 p.m. on election day. So this means that for the upcoming 2024 local government election, the capped expenditure period runs from Monday, the 14th of August 2023 and ends at 6 p.m. on 16th of March 2024, which is election day. Electoral expenditure incurred outside of the capped expenditure period will still need to be disclosed to the Electoral Commission of Queensland per your disclosure requirements, but it will not be included under a candidate or group of candidates' electoral expenditure cap. Electoral expenditure caps are calculated on a sliding scale with reference to whether the candidate is contesting a mayoral or councillor position and the number of electors in a candidate's local government area. Caps are the same for both endorsed and individual candidates. Brisbane City Council's caps are fixed amounts. For mayoral candidates, it's $1.3 million, and for councillor candidates, it's $55,000. The number of electors that we reference is based on electoral roll data for a local government area. Individual candidates are not required to calculate their own cap. The Electoral Commission of Queensland provides this information for every candidate. So how much is your electoral expenditure cap as a candidate? The Electoral Commission of Queensland is responsible for calculating and publishing those electoral expenditure caps for each quadrennial local government election and for by-elections. As a candidate, you are then required to check the Electoral Commission of Queensland's website to find your capped amount. The ecq calculates and publishes caps for the 2024 local government elections before the 14th of August 2023 and for a by-election at the same time the notice for the election is issued. We've spent the last couple of slides looking at electoral expenditure caps for individual candidates. Let's look now at how your group of candidates would use these individual amounts to work out the capped amount for your group. The expenditure cap for a group of candidates is collectively shared by the group members. How is the cap for a group of candidates determined? The group's shared cap is the sum of each group member's individual cap amount. The group's cap cannot exceed the maximum capped amount for the election. Looking at that last point, what is the maximum capped amount? The maximum cap for an election is the number of councillor vacancies multiplied by an individual candidate's expenditure cap. If the office of mayor is to be filled in the election, the amount of the mayoral candidate's expenditure cap is added on. We've included some worked examples in fact sheet 24, electoral expenditure caps for groups of candidates. If you'd like to see some numbers get crunched in actual examples, please read through that fact sheet for more information. The Electoral Commission of Queensland has also published a comprehensive range of fact sheets about electoral expenditure and the new expenditure caps on our website. This is where we recommend you go next for more comprehensive information. If we've used any terms today that you're not sure about or would like more information on, for example, what is electoral expenditure, please head to that fact sheet page as you'll be able to find more information there. In addition to our website, you can also consult the Local Government Electoral Act itself or approach our funding, disclosure and compliance team on the contact details listed. Please note that the Electoral Commission of Queensland provides general advice only. Should you be in any doubt regarding your obligations, please seek independent legal advice. Thank you for joining us for this video about electoral expenditure caps for groups of candidates.